We have a diabetes emergency. We have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore these messages. Africans in Britain and Europe, a diabetes emergency. Africans in Jamaica and the Caribbean, a diabetes emergency. Africans in the United States of America and the Americas, we have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore this message. Listen to the heart-wrenching concerns expressed by Professor Hilary Beckles, Vice-Chancellor of the University of the West Indies.
We have 60% of the black people in the Caribbean over the age of 60 have hypertension or diabetes, or both. Now, if you take the single criterion of chronic diseases, hypertension, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, if you take that simple criterion, the black people in the Caribbean are the unhealthiest people on the planet. And you have to understand that. On the one hand, we are watching Usain Bolt and we're watching the Caribbean athletes. We're watching the Caribbean with an image of being the most athletic people on the planet. But beneath that image of these super sportsmen and women is the hard reality that we are now the sickest people on the planet. In every black family in the Caribbean, hypertension and diabetes is endemic and congenital. In my family, almost everybody over 60 has hypertension and diabetes.
We have a diabetes emergency. We have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore these messages. Africans in Britain and Europe, a diabetes emergency. Africans in Jamaica and the Caribbean, a diabetes emergency. Africans in the United States of America and the Americas, we have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore this message. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition where the immune system attacks and destroys the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas. The body stops making insulin entirely. Type 2 diabetes. The body becomes resistant to insulin. It doesn't work properly, or the pancreas doesn't make enough. It is strongly linked to lifestyle factors such as your weight, your physical activities, the amount of sugar ingested. The only way you can find out if you or your loved one has diabetes or pre-diabetes is from a blood test that measures your blood glucose or sugar levels. These can usually be arranged through your doctor. A finger prick test using a home testing kit or data from a continuous glucose monitor may show you have a high blood sugar levels, but won't confirm if you have diabetes. You need a blood test sent to a laboratory to diagnose diabetes. We have a diabetes emergency. We have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore these messages. Africans in Britain and Europe, a diabetes emergency. Africans in Jamaica and the Caribbean, a diabetes emergency. Africans in the United States of America and the Americas, we have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore this message. In a world quick to define limits, Lyndon Lissard stands as a quiet rebellion against them. Diagnosed with a condition many see as restrictive, he chose instead to redefine what it means to live fully. Through his powerful work, The Inspired Diabetic, he lifts the narrative from survival to strength. Lyndon does not pretend the journey is easy. He tells it as it is: discipline, setbacks, daily decisions. But within that honesty lies his message. Your condition does not own your future. It can refine you, sharpen your awareness, and awaken a deeper level of control over your life. What makes his voice compelling is not theory, but lived experience. He transforms routine, monitoring diet, lifestyle, into acts of self-mastery. Every measured step becomes a declaration: I am in charge. This is bigger than diabetes. It's about reclaiming power in the face of any challenge. Lyndon reminds us that adversity is not a verdict, it is a training ground. The inspired life is not given, it is built. One discipline, courageous choice at a time. Yes, Lyndon, well done. Yes, Lyndon, yes, Lyndon, well done, well done. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, Lyndon, well done. Yes, Lyndon, yes, Lyndon, well done, well done. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, Lyndon, well done. Yes, Lyndon, yes, Lyndon, well done, well done. Yes, the Inspired Diabetic is transforming lives. We have a diabetes emergency. We have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore these messages. Africans in Britain and Europe, a diabetes emergency. Africans in Jamaica and the Caribbean, a diabetes emergency. Africans in the United States of America and the Americas, we have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore this message. Listen to the heart-wrenching concerns expressed by Professor Hilary Beckles, Vice-Chancellor of the University of the West Indies.
We have 60% of the black people in the Caribbean over the age of 60 have hypertension or diabetes, or both. Now, if you take the single criterion of chronic diseases, hypertension, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, if you take that simple criterion, the black people in the Caribbean are the unhealthiest people on the planet. And you have to understand that. On the one hand, we are watching Usain Bolt and we're watching the Caribbean athletes. We're watching the Caribbean with an image of being the most athletic people on the planet. But beneath that image of these super sportsmen and women is the hard reality that we are now the sickest people on the planet. In every black family in the Caribbean, hypertension and diabetes is endemic and congenital. In my family, almost everybody over 60 has hypertension and diabetes.
We have a diabetes emergency. We have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore these messages. Africans in Britain and Europe, a diabetes emergency. Africans in Jamaica and the Caribbean, a diabetes emergency. Africans in the United States of America and the Americas, we have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore this message. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition where the immune system attacks and destroys the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas. The body stops making insulin entirely. Type 2 diabetes. The body becomes resistant to insulin. It doesn't work properly, or the pancreas doesn't make enough. It is strongly linked to lifestyle factors such as your weight, your physical activities, the amount of sugar ingested. The only way you can find out if you or your loved one has diabetes or pre-diabetes is from a blood test that measures your blood glucose or sugar levels. These can usually be arranged through your doctor. A finger prick test using a home testing kit or data from a continuous glucose monitor may show you have a high blood sugar levels, but won't confirm if you have diabetes. You need a blood test sent to a laboratory to diagnose diabetes. We have a diabetes emergency. We have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore these messages. Africans in Britain and Europe, a diabetes emergency. Africans in Jamaica and the Caribbean, a diabetes emergency. Africans in the United States of America and the Americas, we have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore this message. In a world quick to define limits, Lyndon Lissard stands as a quiet rebellion against them. Diagnosed with a condition many see as restrictive, he chose instead to redefine what it means to live fully. Through his powerful work, The Inspired Diabetic, he lifts the narrative from survival to strength. Lyndon does not pretend the journey is easy. He tells it as it is: discipline, setbacks, daily decisions. But within that honesty lies his message. Your condition does not own your future. It can refine you, sharpen your awareness, and awaken a deeper level of control over your life. What makes his voice compelling is not theory, but lived experience. He transforms routine, monitoring diet, lifestyle, into acts of self-mastery. Every measured step becomes a declaration: I am in charge. This is bigger than diabetes. It's about reclaiming power in the face of any challenge. Lyndon reminds us that adversity is not a verdict. It is a training ground. The inspired life is not given, it is built. One discipline, courageous choice at a time. Yes, Lyndon, well done. Yes, Lyndon, yes, Lyndon, well done, well done. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, Lyndon, well done. Yes, Lyndon, yes, Lyndon, well done, well done. Yes, yes, Yes. Yes, Lyndon. Well done. Yes, Lyndon. Yes, Lyndon. Well done. Well done. Yes. The Inspired Diabetic is transforming lives.
And there you have it. Oh, and there you have it. And there you have it. It is truly transforming lives. Let's see what's going on with my video here. Here we go. Let's sort this out, shall we? I'm going to continue playing that video for a moment, and I'll get back to you. 1 second.
We have a diabetes emergency. We have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore these messages. Africans in Britain and Europe, a diabetes emergency. Africans in Jamaica and the Caribbean, a diabetes emergency. Africans in the United States of America and the Americas, we have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore this message. Listen to the heart-wrenching concerns expressed by Professor Hilary Beckles, Vice-Chancellor of the University of the West Indies.
We have 60% of the black people in the Caribbean over the age of 60 have hypertension or diabetes, or both. Now, if you take the single criterion of chronic diseases, hypertension, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, if you take that simple criterion, the black people in the Caribbean are the unhealthiest people on the planet.
Quite a statement, huh? By Professor Hilary Beckles, the Vice-Chancellor of the University of the West Indies. Indeed, by those stats, it does make for sanitary consideration, I have to say. Well, I'm not going to comment on that right now, because the stats are quite stark on why this episode of The Motivator Show, but this is where we translate our words into action, and where success is ours for the taking, because you are the change makers. You are the success creators, not others, not me. It's you. You are the success creators. And that's why we exist, to help you to create your own success. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And it's been a wonderful few days since our last broadcast. It's been truly inspirational. I say that word, I know, repeatedly, but I have the great honor of encountering such wonderful human beings. And earlier this week, I had the honor of having a dialogue, as it were, with Lyndon Lissard, indeed, the Inspired Diabetic. And you hear much more from him later on in our keynote dialogue in approximately, 25 to 30 minutes' time. But between now and then, as you know, we've got a lot to pack into the Motivator Show, because we are a campaigning channel. We raise those issues, but not generally in social media or the international press. Those issues that some people are somewhat shy or coy to discuss. Here on the Motivator channel, we are not coy. We're not shy. We are truthful and direct to you. Those issues of real concern to the community, which are not being discussed, those are the discussions that we will have right here. Hey, it's the Motivator here. This is where we translate our words into action, because success is ours for the taking. It is a mindset. It is a mindset. Let's go for it, shall we? Let's go for it. Now, we've had in these past 3, 4 months of 2026 some quite wonderful guests who have shared their hearts, who have shared their intellect, their compassion with us. Guests who have moved the dial, guests who would not see themselves being extraordinary, but simply ordinary. But before us here on the Motivator Show, this channel, they are most certainly wonderful human beings. But it could be you. Yes, it could be you. These are ordinary people who've said, I want to make a difference. Mhm. Ordinary people. Mhm. And I want to just give light to just a few of those, maybe 2 or 3 of those. As you know, we've got very little time here, but let's get 2 or 3 of those. I want to give a big shout out to that wonderful woman. You remember her, Jelly Chinyere, yeah? Huh? The storytellers, the power of their voices. The Jelly who's able to recite for us our family tree, the history of our communities, yeah, of our region, of our nations, with a depth and a compassion, with a poignancy, which why the oratory levels of communication, yeah, is one that Africa and many parts of the world have relied upon because it brings to life our history, our culture, and tradition. Wasn't she an outstanding human being? You know, I've not spoken to her these past few days, but I have to tell you, I've thought about her a great deal. I know that she has this event coming up soon, an event that I believe we should give promotion to, an event that other storytellers will be present, an event I sorely want to attend if I can. And I know that she wouldn't forgive me if I don't say a little bit about her. She has one of those, first of all, a woman of deep compassion, a powerful intellect, with considerable insight into many subjects, okay, and someone who I greatly respect. Praise be, praise Jah, Rastafari. And what she displayed is the ability of a human being to give and not expect anything back, but to give it with the understanding to do so is to raise our levels of consciousness. So later on, I'm going to play a short excerpt from that particular episode of the Motivator Show, and also give light to the Storytellers Festival, which is due in July. Okay? But I just want to say to her, to Jelly Chinyere, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your enormous heart. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful, huh? Wonderful, wonderful. I also would give light to another woman. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. But this is a woman who's a wife and a mother. She's seen by her people as being the mother of the. She hails from that place in Nigeria, the place we call Nigeria, Biafra. Mhm. And what she was able to demonstrate here on the Motivator Show is a resilience and determination, an intellect and a compassion, an absolute belief in the righteousness of the peoples of Biafra. Mhm. Lulu, Kenu, yes. a quite remarkable human being. Again, a quite remarkable human being. We hope that the Nigerian government, the federal government of Nigeria, will hear the calls of the peoples of Biafra and give them the autonomy that they aptly deserve. Yeah? Nancy Kanu, her husband, who is currently imprisoned, can you believe it or not? He was illegally detained in another country and brought back to Nigeria. How outrageous is that? How outrageous is that? I give and we give complete support to those who seek greater autonomy from their federal governments. We give support to the indigenous people of Biafra and all Igbo peoples across the world and seek for you peace and prosperity. We seek for you peace and prosperity. And if Nigeria wishes to grow and really grow, it will give the people what they want so they can be true contributors to that region of West Africa to its genuine growth. Mhm. Without the tension, intercommunal tension. It just makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. At some point, the incredible brain power that I know exists within Nigeria will come to bear on this matter. And I'm confident they will understand the wisdom of these words. Praise be. Long may you continue, Lulu. Long may you continue, Mother of the people. Long may the Igbo people continue to hold their heads up high. And let's seek the release of Namsi Kanu. Let's get his release so that Nigeria can move forward. Praise Jah, Rastafari. Keep up the good work, each one of you. Peace and prosperity to you all. And the last person I just want to give some promotion to, and if I may, a regular guest here on the Motivator Show. Okay. I want to give light, of course, to Dr. Colton Brown. You recall, he is the entrepreneur par excellence. His book, The Race Paradox, The Black Entrepreneurs, The Race Paradox. Why is it a country such as Britain, which is very liberal state, as it were, still exhibits some rather retarded social construct? If Great Britain PLC is to truly grow, he says, give all persons in Britain the opportunity to grow. Structural racism, structural prejudice, barriers harm Britain. Harmed Britain. You heard Dr. Colton Brown speak on the matter. He quoted stats, facts, statistics. How Britain has been harmed by the behavior of some of its citizens. Of some of its citizens. But they hold crucial position here in Britain and are harming Britain's long-term economic interest by supporting structural prejudice. Those of us of the African heritage communities, whether from the continent or from the Caribbean or from other places, are more than able to make a real contribution to Britain and to British life, given the opportunity to do so. Pay taxes and ensure, therefore, that this remains a vibrant economy. But one of Dr. Carlton Brown's mission, of course, is to hold an annual business conference. Okay, let me in fact put the details on the screen. I know you won't mind this. I'm sure you will not mind. Well, let's hope it does anyway, but I'd like to think not anyway. And why do I do this? And let me just say why I just do this. Because, all nations are judged not by, forgive me, all nations are not judged by what we say, but by what they do, how well they're able to multiply the economic potential of the nation. Okay. They're also judged by, in realizing that economic potential, it means you're investing in people. You're giving those people the opportunity to build businesses, to build wealth, which ultimately benefits the nation. Mhm. Ultimately benefit the nation. Here I am. I can put it on the screen. The conference is scheduled later this year. Here we go. And those who are unaware, it's the UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference of 2026. It's scheduled for Wednesday, the 8th of July, from 9 to 5 p.m. Okay. Now you can obtain tickets via Eventbrite. Okay. And I understand that there is a discount for Easter period. Okay. And that's, it is, coincidentally enough, Easter 26. There you are. Easter 26. It is a conference I've attended in the past. And I have to tell you, what you are amongst are people who are highly motivated, very skilled, people who are aspirants, who want to meet other people who share their worldview, who want to get into business, who want to grow their business, make new connections. Oh, yeah, this is the place to be. What I'm going to do is put the other one up. There you are. I'm going to put up another one for you. There you are. Here we go. What's important here is that each time we give promotion to events of this type, okay, what we're in effect doing is providing an opportunity for genuine growth for Britain. It's Britain that benefits. It's all Britons benefit if events such as this are successful. Go to Eventbrite and obtain your tickets. Okay. Currently, there's a discount, £99. It's if you quote code Easter 26. It's there for you. It's intended for you. Opportunity for genuine growth. And if in doubt, ask questions. I always say that, as you know. If in doubt, ask questions. Do not be left behind. I say to Dr. Colton Brown, keep up the good works. We will be here, give you continued support. There you are. In fact, let me put this other one up for you. There we go. There we go. Just do this here. And in fact, take that one down. Okay, it is fine. Okay. And my last campaign issue for you, of course, and this is one which is very close to heart. Okay. And many of you will recall that in each of our live episodes of the Motivator Show, we've given light to one of these most disturbing facts that exist within many African, sorry, I say many, no, still a few African communities. And that's the issue of FGM, female genital mutilation. I know it's not popular to talk about. I get it. I know there's a tendency to want to sweep it under the rug, as it were, or only whisper on the subject. But this is the Motivator Show channel. Okay. Those issues which are not being discussed, that really should be discussed, will be discussed here. Because it's important that those issues of which are particularly those which affect the innocent, yes, the innocent, which have lifetime consequences. These are the issues we want to give light to. Okay. FGM is one such issue. Many of you be aware that I have given light to a good person. Her name is Councillor Naima Ali. Okay. And she set up an organization called Unshackled Duma. Okay. And what I want to do is really bring the details on screen for you. There you are. She's a former mayor of Southwark here in London. She's the founder of Unshackled Duma. And just to give you the explanation. Unshackled Duma is a London-based organisation that empowers women and girls, particularly from Black, Asian, and so-called ethnic minority and Muslim communities. The organisation focuses on promoting self-empowerment, autonomy, and advocacy, with strong emphasis on combating female genital mutilation, FGM. It raises awareness about FGM's harmful effects and supports survivors to work toward eradicating the practice. This is a worthy campaign for the Motivated Show. More than 250 million women and girls have been mutilated in this way. It is time for us to have a community conversation. Reach out to Councillor Naima Ali. Email address, it's unshackledduma, followed by digit 2 at gmail.com. I repeat, unshackledduma, followed by digit 2 at gmail.com. I commend the work. I commend this initiative to you. And if we work together, we can eradicate this practice. We can eradicate this practice. Keep the faith, I say to you all. Keep the faith, and we can eradicate the practice. And no longer will women and girls have to suffer such indignities for the whole of their lives, their personal parts cut, mutilated for the whole of their lives, because it does not grow back. For that reason, here on the Motivated Show, we will give light to this practice and seek its eradication. I say again, reach out to Councillor Naima Ali, Unshackled Duma, followed by digit 2 at gmail.com. Keep up the good work, Councillor Ali. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. Praise Jah, Rastafari. Oh yeah, and it's those moments like that. This why this channel is so worthwhile. And look, and if you haven't subscribed, why not subscribe? It just helps us to spread the word and tells the YouTube algorithm the content is profound. The content is worthwhile. That the billion plus YouTube subscribers, it's free to subscribe, should hear of these messages. Help us to spread the word. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. We thank you for all of you who have subscribed and those who will subscribe. And before you go, always leave a message or give us a thumbs up or at least an acknowledgement of what you consider of the content you've discovered here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I love your messages that you send through to us. Thank you. Thank you. We love your messages. Those messages are always worthwhile. In fact, what I'm going to do, just put up, here you go. If you want to send a message to us, so we put up and down, want to send a message to us, is of course, it is, if I put it up for you, it is, for some reason I'm not doing well today, here we go. There we go. It is The Motivator Show 501 at gmail.com. There you have it on the screen. The Motivator Show 501 at gmail.com. Write to us. We'd love to hear your comments. And if you've got suggestions for future guests for The Motivator Show, please make your suggestion. We welcome your suggestions. I now want to move to another subject, which again, has been a regular feature for the Motivated Show. It has to do with a global issue, but has localized impact. That's the issue of climate change. Climate change is real. I say again, climate change is real. Rapid climate change is real. I'm here in Britain, in London. I've not seen snow in 2025. And most certainly not in 2026. There was no snow. Highly unusual. 20, 30 years ago, we would have had at least 6 to 8 inches of snow here in London. We had none, zero. Some of you may say, well, no, it's warmer. That's true. Problem with this sudden change in temperature is that it will have a profound impact on our weather here in London, in Britain. Give it another 20 years, and we will pay the consequences. But the consequences are being paid by islands in the Caribbean right now. Right now, they're suffering. In 2024, islands in the Caribbean were battered by Hurricane Beryl, which was a Category 4 hurricane. In other words, up to 120, 130 miles an hour. Even that's pretty intense, huh? And yes, it caused significant damage across the island. But of course, in 2025, we had Hurricane Melissa. That hurricane was a Category 5. It occurred at the very beginning of the hurricane season. And it was a profound experience for many people on the island of Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba. It was profound. It caused significant damage and indeed some loss of life. But the economic damage the peoples are still living with right now, some public and indeed many homes, buildings were destroyed. We here at the Motivator Show are now working with an organization here in Britain called PNP UK. Okay. They're seeking to help bring back into public use, so public buildings such as schools, so that at least the children will have a decent place they can experience that teaching and learning experience. It is worthwhile, isn't it? That's worthwhile. It is clearly our collective responsibility to where countries such as Jamaica have been battered by violent storms, not of their creation. And it's very much the creation of countries such as Britain, France, Germany, Italy, United States of America, Japan, and so on. Those who were those countries who were part of the early section, part of the industrialization that occurred. They pumped into the atmosphere not thousands, not millions, but billions of tons of CO2 into the atmosphere. And that CO2 and nitric oxide is now creating a cover. So sunlight's coming in, but the heat is not going out. And that's why we're experiencing these raised temperatures. Yep. In the atmosphere, and the water temperature is warming as well. Consequence are these violent storms. PNP UK is working with a local school in Jamaica to build back better. We believe here at the Motivated Show channel that this is a worthwhile venture. This is a worthwhile cause to champion. And if you can support them in building this school back so it's suitable for the children, but it's built back in such a way it can withstand future hurricanes, your support will be most welcome. Listen to the words of one school's principals. Listen to what she says. Listen to her most sincere appeal.
PNP UK Hurricane Melissa Disaster Relief Fund appeal for a better Jamaica.
Good morning, students.
Say good morning, parents.
Good morning, students.
Today is what month are we in?
We are in the month of January.
Everyone, I am Lexia Lewis Hines, principal of the New Building Early Childhood Institution in New Building, Nain, St. Elizabeth. We were adversely affected by the passing of Hurricane Melissa on October 28, 2025. And as such, we lost our school roof, we have lost furniture, books, and other learning materials for our young ones. I am hereby making a plea asking for any contribution that can be given to assist us in further renovating our school building so that our students can return to some semblance of normalcy. We have already received some donations and we're able to cover half the roof. The other half is patched up with the old zinc that was there from before. And as such, any contribution is an investment in our young ones, the future generation. And so this is my plea, asking for any contribution that can be given in assisting us to be better able to facilitate our young students. Thank you so very much.
New Building Early Childhood School, New Buildings District, Nain, St. Elizabeth, Jamaica.
January is 21 days old.
On behalf of PNP UK, we hope you would agree that this school needs to be rebuilt so that the children can enjoy the teaching and learning experience. Support the Hurricane Melissa Disaster Relief Fund to build back better the school. Send your donation, whatever you can afford, to PNP UK. That's at NatWest Bank, sort code 600802, account number 298612333. And in the bank reference, please quote DRF Melissa. Thank you for considering. Thank you for your donations. PNP.
There you go. There you go. And I know you would all agree that is a worthwhile support. Yeah, that school should be rebuilt. That school deserves to be rebuilt by the people. And work together, we can transform it. We can ensure that those children have a wonderful experience in their local school. And we here overseas can help them to perform better. Okay. So if in doubt, I say to people, if in doubt, ask questions, right? But don't you worry, we can make the difference for you all. We can make the difference. What I've got to do is put on the screen, if in doubt, in fact, I may come back to that in a moment. What I do want to do in regards to this particular issue is to simply point out that it is very difficult to understand why the Jamaican government has not been able to get the resources to this school as it has to other places. Okay, no criticism of the government, but we're here to give support. The children deserve better, and we're going to work towards ensuring that they have the very best that we can offer. Okay? We're going to make sure that happens. But if in doubt, ask questions. Do not suffer alone. Do not suffer alone. And if in doubt, send us a message, and we will most probably read out your message, your questions. Yeah. But PNP UK are most certainly a worthwhile organisation. They are absolutely a worthwhile organisation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm now conscious that it's really the time for us now to look at the final segment before the main inspirational dialogue. Okay. And this segment has to do with you, your lifestyle. You've understood that the whole purpose of these episodes is, of course, to provide to you an opportunity to receive good quality data, good quality information that you can rely upon, that you can trust. Mhm. Information that once received, we hope that you will respond to. Mhm. Understanding it's for you, not us, it is for you. Our lifestyle has a profound impact on our general health and well being. Here on the Motivator Show, it has been a consistent theme for some years now. One of the inspiration behind it is my guest who will follow the dialogue, or follow this segment of our show. Okay. And I know you would appreciate him shortly. But before we get there, I just want to remind you of why your lifestyle matters and why it has a profound impact on your general health and well being. I want you to listen to the professor. Listen to what the professor says we should do to promote good health and prosperity for ourselves. Listen to him. Professor Kevin Fenton says, I'm a public health director. Here are 5 things you can do to improve your health. 1. Mindful and balanced eating. Nourish wisely. Eat whole, balanced meals with awareness to support energy and well-being. 2. Get outside. Be with nature. Time outside reduces stress, improves mood, and strengthens your connection to the world. 3. Stay curious, stay engaged, explore new interests, keep your mind sharp, build social contacts, and boost your happiness. 4. Get active, move it or lose it. Move daily, lift weight, and do cardio. Exercise, improve physical, mental, mood, and energy. 5. Prioritize rest and sleep. Disconnect. Rest. Quality sleep supports mental clarity, emotional balance, and overall health. And what we're really pleased here at the Motivator Show is that tens of thousands of you have heard these messages and have understood their importance for you, your family, and your wider network, and have come together in common aim and common purpose, and understand if you work together, if you work collectively together, your resources, exercise together, it's far more worthwhile and fruitful experience. Yes, you can do it by yourself. You can run very quickly and go very, very quickly. But if you want sustained improvement in your health and well-being, you do it with other human beings, with those you trust, those you respect, those who share your worldview, your vision for yourself. Working together is the way forward. It's in unity is strength. Yes, absolutely. In unity, in strength. And you will transform your health and well-being outlook, your lifestyle as a direct correlation to your general health and well-being. And most certainly, lifestyle is a recurring theme in the dialogue we will have with the Inspired Diabetic shortly. But before then, what I want you to do is to appreciate people who've heard these messages, who've come together in common aim and common purpose, understood that we work together in promoting our health and well-being, exercising together. You will transform your health outlook because it's a lot easier if you do it with others. You can do it by yourself, that's fine. But if you want a sustained improvement that has a meaningful impact on your overall health and well-being, you do it with other people. I want you to observe these people who've come together in common aim and common purpose, who've understood working together, exercise together, who've transformed their lives together. There you are. That was an example. People coming together in common aim and common purpose, putting their resources and exercise together. To exercise is to promote good health and well-being. It is a crucial part of who we are as human beings. Mhm. It's a crucial part of who we are. If you do not exercise at all, you know, without our words, you're placing yourself at risk. You are yourself at risk. But nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed just watching them exercise and appreciating that these are people from right across the various communities who've come together in common aim and common purpose. The common purpose, of course, is health and well-being. Putting the resources, hiring a hall, and being able, therefore, to exercise together and develop kinship bonds, friendships. Yeah, it's great. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, now it's time for me to move to our main dialogue for today. Now, you must forgive us. We've apparently our software has undergone some updates, and these updates has rendered my periphery. Anyway, whatever it is, we'll have to figure it out for next time. So apologies if it's a little distracting, but I hope we've resolved most of it now. Uh, Today's theme is, of course, the theme, and it is important. We are experiencing, particularly people of African heritage and South Asian heritage, I should also add, a diabetes and indeed hypertension emergency. Levels of diabetes, indeed hypertension or high blood pressure, is way above the norm. And fundamentally, the cause for this is indeed lifestyle, what we are doing to ourselves, what we're eating, a lack of exercise, okay? And of course, the other part of this, our mental states as well, is a contributing factor. Extreme stress can upset your mental. Maybe you would have heard if I made a section of intro video where we heard from the Vice Chancellor of University of Dins, where he made a profound observation. He observed that there is indeed a diabetes epidemic, indeed, therefore emergency. But he also noted that every member of his family, yeah, has either diabetes or high blood pressure. Yeah. Here in Britain, you'll see and hear in the dialogue shortly, the stats are through the roof, And we're not discussing it. It's not being discussed. That's why here at the Motivator Show, it is necessary for us, therefore, to take the lead, to be in the vanguard, as it were, to point people in the direction that this is a serious matter of real concern to the community. And the community needs to hear of it so it can hear, be informed, and therefore respond appropriately. This is serious. I have some best friends, some really good friends, or indeed diabetic, or indeed suffering from high blood pressure. Mhm. It is profound. Therefore, it is incumbent upon us here at the Motivator Show to bring it to our attention and to ensure it's a recurring theme in each of our live episodes. And I hope you will join with us. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to us. Help us to continue to spread the word, to encourage the YouTube algorithm to spread that word. To a billion or so subscribers to YouTube. It's free to subscribe. Help us to spread the word. This is an important message. I cannot understate its importance. So, as a prelude to the main dialogue, I'm going to play a section of the intro video, particularly that section in which you hear from the Vice Chancellor, University of West Indies. I know for some of you, the information will be disturbing, unsettling, and I get it, don't worry, I get it. It was disturbing and unsettling for myself. To completed the research, see the facts, and to want to disbelieve the facts. And so I interrogated them. And I looked at it from different academics, from different institutions, to ensure that what I was reading was accurate. The information we're reciting to you today is accurate. Unfortunately, it is so. So I'm going to play a section of the intro video And I know you would appreciate why before I go into the main dialogue. Here we go.
We have a diabetes emergency. We have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore these messages. Africans in Britain and Europe, a diabetes emergency. Africans in Jamaica and the Caribbean, a diabetes emergency. Africans in the United States of America and the Americas, we have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore this message. Listen to the heart-wrenching concerns expressed by Professor Hilary Beckles, Vice-Chancellor of the University of the West Indies.
We have 60% of the black people in the Caribbean over the age of 60 have hypertension or diabetes, or both. Now, if you take the single criterion of chronic diseases, hypertension, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, if you take that simple criterion, the black people in the Caribbean are the unhealthiest people on the planet. And you have to understand that. On the one hand, we are watching Usain Bolt and we're watching the Caribbean athletes. We're watching the Caribbean with an image of being the most athletic people on the planet. But beneath that image of these super sportsmen and women is the hard reality that we are now the sickest people on the planet. In every black family in the Caribbean, hypertension and diabetes is endemic and congenital. In my family, almost everybody over 60 has hypertension and diabetes.
We have a diabetes emergency. We have a diabetes emergency. Do not ignore these messages.
Well, that was the first section of our intro video. And if you want to watch the entire intro video, go to the beginning of this podcast. You'll hear it. It is full of facts and details. But yeah, you heard his voice. You heard his concern. Now it's time for us to move to the main dialogue with the inspired diabetic. When Lyndon has allowed us to use that term because his book is one that, if you haven't watched, forgive me, haven't read, I would encourage you to read. Watch this dialogue. He laid it out for us all. It is profound. It is deep. Here. It's the motivator here. This is where we translate our words into action. And where success is ours for the taking. And you know, people, this is yet going to be another inspirational podcast. And indeed, this time I have a truly inspired African man. Oh, yeah. The inspired. Yes, the inspired diabetic is here with us. You remember him? Lyndon Lissard. Oh, lordy, lordy. Why, this is going to be such a fantastic dialogue between him and I. Look at him. Look upon the face here. And he looks younger than ever. Why? Look at him laugh like a young one. Look at what's him, boy. Hey, Lyndon, how are you, sir? How are you?
I'm very well, demotivated. I'm very, very well. Thank you for having me on your show today. I appreciate it and your support. I really, really do. Demotivator, you're the man. You know that. You're the man.
Hey, thank you. Now this is. I'm just going to say for those of the audience who hadn't watched your original podcast with us, what's that? 3 years ago. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Which was a profound, seminal moment for tens of thousands of people, and that number unfortunately is still increasing, but tens of thousands of people who have diabetes. Okay. And what you provided with inspiration, hope, determination, and a resoluteness to be able to manage the condition and live a fruitful life. Yeah? And I recall the letters, the calls I received afterwards, which was like a hurricane. Let's say the word hurricane. It was literally an hurricane. People were moved by you, by your testimony. It's really it's a great pleasure to see you. Now that book of yours, wonderful book. Oh yeah, it was a great pleasure. And I know that each time I use the term inspired diabetic, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to say again, inspired diabetic. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'm going to. Each time I say, that's what's going to happen, people. Just to remind you that this is an incredible human being, but he's incredible not because he's a diabetic, but because what he is just an ordinary person who said that they will not be weighed down by the trials and tribulations of life. And life can be full of trials and tribulation, isn't it?
100%, definitely. Yeah.
100%, yeah. And you'll find ways using your own skills, your own experience to fight back. Yes, to fight back. It's tough.
You have to.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, it's tough, isn't it? It's tough. But
Be
you're not going to
motivated.
be weighed down.
Yeah.
Okay. And as I was preparing for this dialogue with yourself, I considered, because what you don't know, I received more than 300 various communications from people out there in the communities, okay, who would consider to have diabetes to be effectively not so much a death sentence, but effectively a weight on their lives that they would not be able to recover. Yeah? And what you provided with your book and your personality is that is not so. Yeah? That is not so. Hey, what I'm going to say, I'm going to call his name again. The Inspired Diabetic. Oh, yeah. The Inspired Diabetic. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I want people to remember you. Yeah, thank you. Because it's as I record our last dialogue on this subject, and I know for you, it is close and it's intimate. Okay. And I want those of you who are listening and watching, if you haven't got your pens and papers out, okay, get it out now. You haven't got your phones with your notepad set up, get it out now. Because this podcast will be full of information, useful information that we hope that you can use to help you, if you have the condition, to manage the condition. Okay? And I think that's the important message we want to get across. Because, of course, to have an inspired diabetic here, it makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. And I want those of you who are here today just to listen to Lyndon, who would describe himself as being pretty ordinary, but we know him to be extraordinary. Okay. So, Lyndon, if I may, just to get us this dialogue underway. Okay.
Yeah.
So, this podcast, I suppose, is really an opportunity, because I know the book has been out for a while, to continue to promote the Inspired Diabetic book, your book, okay?
Yes.
And your work supporting diabetics and those at risk of diabetes to manage conditions, okay? Now, of course, obviously, you're not a stranger here at the Motivated Show, because, as I said, that your broadcast in 2022 had a profound impact on many families, many individuals' behavior.
Yes.
Now, I request, just for the benefit of those viewers and listeners who hadn't watched that original podcast, that original recording, can you just describe for us what led to you being diagnosed with diabetes?
What led me to being diagnosed with diabetes is that I had a breakdown one day. I was working in the kitchen working a recipe on a calculator, and 1 and 1 was like 2, 2 and 2, 3, 4, 6 and 6 was 7. It just, my mind just wasn't functioning. Excuse me. My mind just was not functioning properly that morning. And there's a chef in the kitchen making all these jokes. And what happened is that I was in my little zone. And then because I wasn't laughing with everybody else, he called out my name. So you know when somebody calls out your name, you instantly react to it, yeah? So I reacted to him calling my name. And what I decided to do, just look him straight in the eyes, and there was no words that would come out, you know? And I just looked in his eyes, and I just ran out of the kitchen into the changing room, and I fell on the floor, and I was crying like a baby, you know?
Oh, wow.
I was crying like a baby because I had so much things going wrong with my body, my mind, my spirit. I had blood in my stool, pains in my stomach, pins and needles.
Oh, wow.
I ran into the toilet often. I was just not well for a long time, and I had certain things with my body which I was trying to deal with. And I think on that day, it just hit me. I just broke down. I just hit the wall that day. And the chef came into me and said, "Lyndon, you know something? What's wrong with you?"
Can I ask you, forgive me, Lyndon, just before you go to that phase, you said you had those, as it were, if I use this term, those signs that something was wrong before that day. You mentioned blood in your stool. How long have you had blood in your stool, for example? How long has that been going?
Probably for over a year, probably about a year.
Oh my gosh, a year.
Okay. Yeah. It would come and go. It would come and go.
What other symptoms did you have?
I had pains in my stomach all the time. I always had a pain in my stomach, and I couldn't understand
for another
why.
Year? Was that for another year?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I had men's problems. I don't want to say genital itching. I had genital itching as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Which is one of, they call it thrush. Is one of the symptoms. So I'll be open about that. And it was tough to be able, because the thing about it, a lot of men have this. We don't talk about it. Do you know what I'm saying? So for the men out there, that's one of the symptoms. I was always thirsty. I was always drinking.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I put on weight. I was overweight at the time as well. Yeah.
How much weight did you put on? How much weight did you put on?
I put on quite a bit of weight, quite a few stones I did. I was up to I was going like 13, 14 stones. I was getting bigger and bigger. Do you know what I'm saying? You know?
So how tall are you, Lyndon? How tall are you?
5, at the time I was 5'9". I think I've shrunk down to 5'8" now.
Okay. So you're 5'9", 5'8", and you're 13 stones. Gosh.
Yeah.
That's heavier than me, and I'm 6'1". So, oh my gosh, yes.
Oh wow.
That would be something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
your stool.
stool. Yeah. So
blood in your stool. You're gaining weight. Okay.
Yeah.
You had cramps. In your abdomen area. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And did you have problem with your vision? Do you have problems with your vision? And do you have headaches?
I'm not sure if it was vision or mind fog. Do you know what I'm saying? Because
yes.
Because what happened when I there's a test that we go for the eyes, is a retinopathy test. Yeah. And when I went for my retinopathy test, my veins were perfect. There's nothing wrong with my veins in my eyes. And they were surprised, considering the level of diabetes I had at the time. So I think it was brain fog that I must have had rather than issues with my eyes, you know. So yeah. So they call it blurred vision.
Yeah, and you're always feeling tired. Always feeling tired.
100%. It get to the stage where we're going to families' houses and they say, Lyndon, please don't sleep when you come here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was a regular thing for me, you know. I used to drive 1.5 hours, and I used to take 2 bags of jelly babies with me for the sugar content to keep me awake, you know.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
And you're also drinking a lot of water. You felt thirsty all the time.
Well, I wasn't really drinking water. I was drinking fizzy drinks.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, for the sugar.
For me back then, water wasn't a thing. You know, water was a byproduct of I'm drinking water. No way. You know, it always had to be a fizzy drink that I always drink.
Always had that.
Yeah.
I can I just ask you then? So that those are multiple symptoms, of course.
Yes.
And tell me, did your family members note? Well, you mentioned the sleeping, but did they notice these other symptoms? Were they obvious to other people? Or did you keep it to yourself?
No, I kept a lot of it to myself. I didn't know because you know, you don't want to bother the family sometimes. You don't want them to worry about you. And this is what happens, you know, when they know
I get it. Yeah.
The man in the house is not well. It's like it's a big thing, you know. It's a big thing.
I hear you. This is the male condition. Very often.
Yeah,
I get 100%. I get that. And of course, I know that particularly if you don't know you've got it, it has it affects your nightly activities as well. I would imagine as well, huh?
100%, definitely.
Yeah, most certainly, sir. Most certainly so. Did you not feel at any point that you should go to the doctor? Prior to your collapse, do you not feel you had to go to the doctor? Because blood in the stool is pretty serious, isn't it?
Well, you don't know until you get diagnosed or you find out what it is really. You know, because don't forget, sometimes these things come, they go. We say we're going to weather the storm. We're just going to get through it. Do you know what I'm saying? So I looked at it. I never thought I'm going to go doctor. I thought, oh, that's not good. So I just carried on living my life. You know, I just carried on living my life.
Right. So these were like some cascading series of symptoms, but ultimately will weigh you down both physically and psychologically. Yep.
Yeah.
Would that be right? Yep. Okay. And you were just withstanding it. That's a very male condition. Trust me, I know the condition.
No,
you just withstand it, huh? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm pretty mentally strong, so a lot of things don't really faze me. So when you see things or do things, you know, you just look at it like, okay, whatever. You know, even though when I think about going to the doctor about it. You know, I just thought I'll just deal with it and just let it happen. You know what I'm saying? So I know it'll go away sometime. Hopefully, you know.
And if I may, because I said I won't get to the point at which you actually clap, but before getting there, so did you try to use some natural remedies, maybe at the tummy pains, etc.? Did you try to use natural remedies to reduce the pain, or did you just ride through the pain? Mm-hmm.
The only thing I use my own TCP or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? The little thing. I didn't even take tablets for nothing. The only tablets I used to do is take headache tablets for working in the kitchen as a chef, and that's it. I didn't know of any remedies back then. I didn't know of any natural remedies. I didn't think about anything like that because I was not in that environment. You know, I wasn't around people who done natural remedies or anything like that. So it never ever occurred to me. We were so used to going to the chemist to get something, and that's about it. So I just dealt with it by myself.
a very male condition, and particularly
Yeah,
men of African heritage in the diaspora. It's very much a male condition that we withstand
100%.
physical and psychological pressures,
Yeah,
physical and psychological pain. We try to withstand. And I look, I say this with no pride. I went through a period where for 30 years I never
wow.
visited a doctor. Okay.
Okay.
I now go once a year for annual checkup. Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
say that with no pride whatsoever. Okay. And I had no choice because I had an abscess on my back and I had to go to the doctor for that,
yeah.
you see. When they checked my record, they said, but, oh, your record, so the last time you were here, I was more than 30 years ago.
Wow,
And the
wow.
doctor looks at me and said, well, we'd like you, please, and they're very careful to say please, we'd like you, please, to come in for a complete body workout. This is to make
Work
sure
out, yeah.
everything's working. And the woman doctor, she said it was such matter of factly. I said, oh, okay, I could do that. No, that's fine. And I came in, and fortunately, I got through that that particular exercise. There were some minor issues, but nothing that would cause any cause for concern for someone of my age group. But I say that with no pride, no pride.
Yeah,
I now go at least once a year, regardless
yeah,
of how I feel, just once a year. But you withstood a great deal, and then there were many signs along the way up until the point. And so I interrupted you at the point at which you went outside and you collapsed. Just tell us how you felt, why that happened, why that was a breaking point for you.
it was a breaking point for me because my mental state was so messed up. It was so
Hmm.
messed up. It's so messed up. And when I had so much issues going on with my body, uh,
Yes, yes.
my friend who came to the change room after me, he said to me, Lyndon, you got two choices. Either go home or go to the doctor. You know,
Huh.
I think if he said just go home, I would have just gone home. But he said to me, go to the doctors or go home. So I think when he says go to the doctor, I think that kind of hit me in the head. Maybe I should go doctor and get checked out. So that was my thoughts at the time. And I think to
Mhm.
myself, because he sent me home, I was self-employed at the time. And
Okay.
if I'm self-employed and I can't work, that means I can't earn. And if I can't earn, it
Right.
affects the family and everything else that's
Yes,
around me. So
yes.
I think to myself, Lyndon, you better go get yourself checked out. So that's what I did. You know, get myself checked out.
Well done, Lyndon. Well done, Lyndon. I will just say again, well done. Well done for
Yeah,
doing so that time. Although it took a lot of pressure, a lot of it's almost as if the divine was telling you, "We want you to go to the doctor.
yeah,
I want you to go to the doctor." Okay.
exactly.
So you went to the doctor. You went to the doctor, and you at that point you went for a series of tests, and you've now been diagnosed of having type 2 diabetes.
Diabetes,
Okay.
yeah.
Can I ask you, when that diagnosis was given to you, how did you feel?
I didn't feel nothing because I didn't know what diabetes was at the time.
Ah,
You know, I didn't know
okay.
what diabetes was at the time. So when I went to the doctors, they done a pinprick uh, blood glucose test on my finger, and that was
Yes.
15.9, and that's supposed to be 5. Yeah, that's when the
What does
doctor
that
said
mean?
that
Forgive me. No, no, hold on. What does that mean when you say 15.9? What were they measuring? What they're measuring?
they were measuring my blood glucose level, the
Okay.
amount of
Right.
sugar in the body, and
Sugars,
that's when they
yes.
do a pinprick on your finger.
Uh-huh.
You're
Yes.
one of them, okay? So
Uh-huh.
mine was 15.9, and it's supposed to be 5.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh. Oh my
and
God. 3 times.
and
Oh dear.
and that's what they said. You're probably diabetic, so we're going to send you
Mm.
for a HbA1c blood test, which is
Mm-hmm.
a blood test which monitors your blood sugars for the last 3 months, which
Right.
determines if you're diabetic or not.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the normal level at that time would have been 42. Yeah. But mine was 92. It
Oh
was.
gosh.
Yeah. It was 92.
More than double. More than
More than
double.
double. Yeah. More than double.
Oh.
So at that time, the only thing that I could think of was when my doctor told me that I'm diabetic, is the way that she looks in my face when she told me the result. And that's when I realized it was pretty serious. And then the doctor went directly for the medication, the metformin. So she said to me, "I'll have to put your medication." And I thought, wow, that must be pretty serious, at that time. So I've never ever.
Can I ask you before you go to the medication side? I just want to make
Yeah.
sure, because you talked about how the cascading symptoms were bearing down upon you. Okay.
Yeah.
And I do recall when you were last here, you talked about your nightly habit and the consumption of sugars and sweet milk. Just
Yeah.
remind us about your consumption of sugar and sweet milk. I recall the sweet milk account you used to tell us about. Tell us about your love of sweet milk. Go on, tell us.
Well, well, as a child, on TV, once upon a time, they used to do these silly things on TV, and they made sandwiches with condensed milk. So
we
so
know
when
it
you see
well with the Caribbean. We know it well.
exactly, so as a child, you do these things, and then sometimes as an adult, you want to go back and live your childhood memories. So you try a sandwich with condensed milk, so it's one of them things,
Can I just for the benefit of the audience, because we're both Ireland and I from the Caribbean, and of course Jamaica, many of the islands were sugar cane plantation
Yeah.
areas, okay, and therefore sugar was one of those regular dietary intakes, okay, it was so readily available, but it could be refined and converted into a sort of milk-like concoction, which essentially is just pure sugar with additional ingredient, which gives it a sort of milk-like flavor. But it's mostly just pure sugar. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! My father, uh, God bless him, used to consume it when I was a child because he was
Wow.
a master builder, and he used to drink it. He used to put it in his tea. He used to drink tea. Didn't like coffee.
Exactly.
Put it in his tea every day,
Every
and
day.
he
Wow.
would buy these tins of condensed milk.
Condensed milk,
Forgive me,
yeah.
of sweet milk. It was condensed sweet milk, and he would put it in the cupboard there. And we used to watch him as children. We used to watch him. Look, my brothers and sisters may be watching this now. We used to watch him, and he was put in the cupboard, and he would buy 4 or 5 of these per week. Well, of course, we
Wow.
used to watch him put it in his teeth, and so we tried it in our teeth. We love it, and we did exactly what he used to do without him knowing. You should
Yes.
take out the condensed milk and
Pour
pour it
it.
on the bread and spread it as if it's like butter, if it's like margarine on the bread. And to
Yes.
eat it, oh my God, it was so nice. Oh Lordy,
So
Lordy,
nice.
I
So
can tell
nice.
you now, it was so nice. It was so nice. I have to tell you, my father got through more than 7 tins of
Wow.
condensed milk per week.
A
Because
week.
all the he showed it to
A
I used to
week.
and I was the worst. I don't mind telling the public right now. God bless him, he's now passed, so he can't berate me right now. But I used to, after he'd done it, had his bit in the morning. He used to go to work, and I'm assuring you, by the time he got home, that tin was empty.
Empty.
And he got used to it. Well, he did complain, but he couldn't really get it find out he was
Yeah.
consuming it. But I used to consume incredible amounts of condensed milk, incredible amount. Have no idea what I don't. Forgive me. blessing to the divine, don't have diabetes today. I have to tell you, somehow I was just very, very fortunate. Very, very
Yeah.
fortunate. And there were tens of thousands of boys and girls just like me and you, because we're the
Yeah.
same here. Who used to do exactly the same thing.
Same
And
thing.
it is a lesson for all parents, particularly from the Caribbean, who are used to buying those condensed milk, those sweet milk. Please don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Yes, go on. I interrupted you, but I needed to give that account, a personal account, because I totally relate to
Yeah.
that experience, because I just love my condensed milk sandwich. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
But
Even now, my mouth is watering. Linda, my mouth is watering right now. My mouth is watering right now, thinking about it. And I still possess that sweet tooth, but I keep it under manners now. I keep it under
yeah.
strict manners. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
and we're going to
Martin,
get on to you.
one
Go
of the
ahead.
things that I used to do on a daily basis, because I didn't live in London, I lived outside of London, yeah. I'd have a commute about an hour and a half in the mornings coming into London to work. So what I used to do, I used to have 3 slices of hard old bread or sweet bread.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sweet bread already.
Yeah. I put bread, I put butter on it, yeah. I put jam on it. I'll taste it. If I didn't think there was enough jam on it, I'll put more jam on it. Yeah, okay. And on top of that, I make myself a coffee. I'll have a coffee with 3 to 4 teaspoons of demerara sugar, brown sugar.
Yes.
Okay. And then I put honey in it as well. Yeah. Okay. And that will be my journey to work. Once I got to work, yeah, I'm on the pastry section. So I'm cutting up these cakes and I'm keeping the trimming for myself. So somebody would come in the kitchen. Linda, you want a cup of tea? I said, yeah, I'll have a tea or a coffee with my sugar, with some honey in it. And I'll be having the cakes and the tea, drinking that. Lunchtime will come. I'll have a fizzy drink or water. I'll have a pasta, rice, potato, beef, chicken, pork, whatever that was on the menu. You can have anything. Yeah. Then after lunch, you'll have about 2:30, you'll have a tea break. Yeah. So you can have a tea or coffee with your biscuits or some cake again. Yeah. Once I finish work, my journey is going to be like an hour and a half going home. Yeah. So what I'll do then, I'll go to the shop, I'll get a 3-meal deal, which would be a BLT sandwich, it'd be a fizzy drink, a chocolate bar or a crisp, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Once I got home, the wife would have cooked some food, do you know what I'm saying? You know, pasta, rice, beef, chicken, whatever it is, on the table with my ginger beer, my mango juice, yeah, on the table waiting for me. And then we sit down, switch TV on to watch football. Do you know what I'm saying? You know? But then we go and fall asleep. You know? We go and fall asleep. You know? The wife comes nudging you, come, get up, go to bed, go to bed. So about 9 o'clock, 9:30, you go to the kitchen, you know, wife's gone upstairs. You go to the kitchen, make yourself a cup of tea, a couple of digestive biscuits. Yeah? And then you go back and get more, and then you never know, you finish the pack of biscuits, Martin. And this was like a daily thing for me.
Yes.
This was like a daily routine for me. So just think the amount of carbohydrates I've consumed, the amount of sugar I've consumed in one day.
Enormous, yes.
And I'm not the only one like that. Yeah.
I know. You know, Lyndon, as you describe it, you see, because in addition to consuming my dad's condensed milk, you know, he used to have maybe a quarter of it or whatever for his tea. Whatever.
Yeah.
The rest, I would actually consume myself. And you know what I would do? I'd get some hot water and put in the tin and wash it around, and then drink from the tin.
Oh wow!
And then I'd go to school. On my way to school, I'd buy sweets. Oh my God! So I have no idea why I don't have it. I'm just so fortunate, so fortunate. But I completely relate, and unfortunately, it's still common amongst children today in our communities. And we say again to the parents, don't do it. think carefully about the sugar intake that your children are experiencing. Really is important. So Lyndon, you got to the point at which you're now diagnosed with diabetes.
Yeah.
The doctor now presents you with this drug regime. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just tell us, can you recall what it is they prescribed for you initially, and what frightened you about what was presented to you?
They presented me with metformin. They threatened me metformin. I didn't know what metformin is. They just said to me that would reduce your blood sugar levels. And I thought to myself, you know something? I've never been on any medication in my life. But when they told me about diabetes, I remember my cousin Ken, who was type 1 diabetic, he said, Lyndon, if you ever become diabetic, don't take any medication. So that's where my mindset was. I'm thinking about my cousin Ken, don't take the medication. And I'm thinking of something, my doctor wants me to take medication. And I think to myself, I don't want to take medication. You know? So what do you do? What do you think about? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you listen to a professional person, or do you listen to your cousin who you grew up with? You know?
Now then, this is an important junction point.
100%.
Look, for many of us, we are concerned about the if racism exists in the medical profession. And sometimes we question the efficacy of some of the drug regimes given to people of African heritage. Yeah, and we can always recall some horror stories. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so you're at that point in which you present with all these drugs. Okay. And your relative has said, well, don't take the drugs. Okay. Can I, before we talk about your reaction, can you just explain, if you're able to explain why your relative said, don't take the drug? Why was that being suggested to you?
Because he was type 1 diabetic. He done all the research on medication. Do you know what I'm saying? So he was just adamant, if you ever become diabetic, Lynn, don't take any medication. That's what, because he done his research, you know. And to be honest with you, he went in one ear and he went out the other ear, because I hadn't seen my cousin for a long time, so it wasn't a major conversation at that time. But once that word diabetes came up, it kind of ding ding. That kind of reminded me, like, okay, Lynn, your cousin's done research on medication for diabetes. He said not to take it. I'm gonna consider that. I'm gonna consider that because I trust him.
Okay, but I think for the benefit of the audience, it's really important to distinguish between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Now,
type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition where the immune system attacks and destroys the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas. The body stops making insulin entirely. Type 2 diabetes, the body becomes resistant to insulin. It doesn't work properly, or the pancreas doesn't make enough. It is strongly linked to lifestyle factors such as weight and physical activity.
In that case, then, let me go straight into it. You have to make that decision. So what did you do to combat the condition, the type 2 diabetes that you have?
The number one thing to combat it, which I done, is how did I become type 2 diabetes? How did I become ill? That's the number one thing. And then when you know how you became it, your number one thing is to reverse it, So it was my pasta, my rice, my ginger beer, my mango juice, my biscuits, alcohol, all these things at the time, which I was consuming, that got me diabetic. I need to reverse it. So number one, I got to take it out of my diet or reduce it out of my diet. Simple fact, that is. And that's the mental strength that comes in, you know? So on that.
Again, forgive me for interrupting there, but it's
That's
so
okay.
that's the, as it were, the starting point. But
Yeah.
you, because of your skill as a chef, you
Yeah.
are particularly informed what foods are, their taste, and their nutritional value. Is that right?
Back then, it wasn't so much of nutritional value. It was just looking good and tasting good. You know, we didn't do much about nutrition back then for some reason. You know, it was about what does the food look like, how does it taste. So, for example, if we're making a sauce, yeah, a jus or gravy, whatever you call it, yeah, sometimes we got a massive big broth, yeah, okay, of bones, vegetables, and we're boiling that down to about 24 hours. You know, and then when we pass all that stuff out of it, we put it on the stove to boil it down, reduce it down slowly, and then you got to keep tasting it, keep tasting it, keep tasting it till it's right. And sometimes these broths, after a while, you put alcohol in it, they put red wine in it, yeah, okay. Or if you're making a white sauce, the white sauce will have milk in it, will have flour in it, with butter in it, and sometimes to get that flavor, you got to taste it at least 5 or 6 times until you get the right flavor. I just think you're consuming all these different sauces just to get the right flavor. So Martin, if you go to a restaurant and you get sauce on your table, on your plate, yeah, you want to make sure it tastes nice. Yes. So we have to make sure we've tasted it several times before you taste it.
Okay.
You know?
That sounds perfectly logical. So so you come back to your point then, that you reviewed what you were consuming. Okay.
Yes.
Did you do it by yourself, or did you consult a nutritionist?
No, I consulted with my cousin Ken. My cousin Ken told me everything. He was my biggest
specialist. Is he a specialist in some way? Or?
He's done his own personal research, so I trusted him. So he told me about flavonoid foods. Flavonoid foods are foods that heals and nourishes the pancreas, like fresh herbs like parsley, tomatoes, beans, gonga beans, so many things, dark chocolate as well, yeah, pomegranate. There's loads of things that you can eat, vegetables as well, you know, that helps heal the pancreas. So if there's something wrong with your body, there's certain foods that can heal it. So that's what my main focus was. You know, so it's just a reversal of what I was eating before. So
yes, Lyndon. So Lyndon, just explain, how do you manage your condition on a sort of daily basis? How do you manage it?
Well, in the beginning, how I managed it, number one, I had to cut down on all carbohydrates, all white foods that I was eating. Number one.
Yes.
So number two, my diet changed a lot. So I had to introduce a lot of foods into my diet, like I was talking about flavonoid. Yeah. Number three, one of the things that I started to do, I used to take my daughter to school in the morning for 8:30. Then after that, I got straight to the gym because I was overweight and I wasn't fit. You know? So that was one of my main things, to go to the gym, exercise, to lose the weight. So I would do certain things in the gym just to get my body going, you know? And another thing that I used to do as well is intermittently fasting, abstain from eating, sorry. You know, so one of the things I do now, I mean, like now, whatever the time is now, you know, I haven't eaten yet for a few hours. I'll just drink some water, and that's normal for me.
Absolutely.
That's normal.
Yes, absolutely.
You know?
Okay. You mentioned flavonoids. I'm familiar with them, but what foods are the rich source of flavonoids?
Flavonoids is like oranges, berries, beans, lettuce, certain lettuces, like baby gem lettuce, dark chocolate, peppers, loads of stuff, fresh herbs like parsley, thyme. These are very, very good, you know. So it made a change in your life when you start eating these foods, because if you're eating certain foods every day, to suddenly want to change to certain things or take foods out of your diet, it just doesn't feel right. but it's worth it though. It's worth it, and you get used to the new change after a while anyway. You do.
Yes. In other words, for the most part, non-processed food. In other words, for the most part.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely avoid as much as possible non-pro. And the thing about it, Martin, a lot of people when you change your diet, you feel so much better.
Yes.
It's amazing. You know, you don't forget we normally have a nice regular meal and you feel good after it. Yeah, but when you change your diet and you're eating more healthier, your mind, your spirit is so much different. It's a different happy.
Much clearer. Yeah.
Yeah, much clearer. Yes, much clearer happy. Definitely.
I know that you also mentioned the use of okra and soaking okra in water and so on. Just tell us how you do that.
Well, I was introduced to okra water because okra naturally reduces the blood sugars. You know, it's a natural remedy to the medication. Let me simplify it that way. So I would get like 3 or 4 okra, 500 mils of water. I'll just cut it, put it in the water, leave it out for 24, 48 hours, and then I'll drink it. You know, and that would help reduce the blood sugars. And I still do. It's part of my daily or weekly consumption now. It is. I'm used to it now.
Yes. And did you feel when you modified your diet that you were hungry? Do you feel hungry all the time, or is it that you felt fuller? How did you feel when you changed the diet?
To be honest with you, I felt hungry at the beginning because we're so used to having food in the system. So when you're cutting down and you're eating more vegetables, more fruit, it's not more solid as potato, rice, pasta. It's a different feeling that you have, especially when you're eating meat as well. My problem is I love beef. I used to love beef, used to love lamb, but it always made me feel bloated. That's the only problem. I used to eat white bread all the time, you know, and it always made me feel bloated. So I had to find an alternative, which is the hardest thing. There's lots of times when you do feel, but I drink water. I do watermelon juicing now, beetroot juicing, and with watermelon, because it's like fleshy and it's a lot of content of water. I like the flavor of watermelon. That fills you anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? It makes you feel content.
Yes, I completely agree. And it is interesting as you describe this. This is a dramatic change in your dietary intake. There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
But you're prepared to make that change because you recognize the risk of diabetes to your general health and well-being. So for you, this is more than just survival. This is life and death. Yeah, this is life and death.
Yeah.
So you were motivated to do so. Okay, and it is interesting as you describe this, you know, because it's these are, in other words, non-processed foods for the most part. Okay, you entered into a regime in which you're taking far more fruits and vegetables. You're eating meat, but in the right proportion. Okay, you're exercising more because you recognize you're overweight and you clearly not exercising was clearly not doing you any good whatsoever. Okay, and of course you're drinking the appropriate amount of water, so you're fully hydrated. Yep, so your body could work far more efficiently. Okay, and as you did all this, okay, just tell us how you felt. How it was making you feel. Can you talk about that brain fog is going away? How did it make you feel physically?
Physically, I felt so much better, Martin. Afterwards, physically, I couldn't believe the amount of energy that I had. I was no longer tired all the time. I used to eat food and felt tired after eating. Now I eat, I don't feel tired anymore after like that. I don't get that feeling no more. The only time I feel tired now is in the afternoon. So I naturally go to sleep, have a siesta, because that's my body telling me to rest. When my body tells me to rest, Martin, I fight it anymore. You know, because if your body says sleep, sleep. Your body's telling you something. My friend Valma, she said to me, Lyndon, your body is your temple.
Absolutely, yes.
Listen to your body.
Is your temple. Yes. Well said. Well said. Well said. No, well said. And if I may, just for the audience to fully appreciate the dramatic turn of direction you were able to make. Okay, you of course are a chef, so you're able to create meals which are more appropriate for someone who wants to live a much healthier lifestyle. Would that be fair? Would that be fair? So you can come up with your own recipes. Would that be fair?
Yes. Fortunately, yes, because I've been a chef. It's been a benefit to me because I can create from the flavonoid foods. You know what I'm saying? You know, I can create something that I like. And one of the things I said to people, is make a list of the foods that you like and enjoy to eat. You know, because every time you do that, you're going to have a meal that you're going to enjoy. Even if it's repetitive sometimes, you know you're going to enjoy it, you know? And sometimes if you want to come out of that little zone and do something different that you really do it, as a reward.
Yes.
Do it as a reward. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? But don't go back to where you was before, you know?
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And of course, your doctor was monitoring your glucose level, obviously. Okay, so just tell us how that your glucose level changed over 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 month period once you change your diet. Tell us how the readings were different.
Okay, so when I was initially diagnosed, my HbA1c, my blood glucose level for the last 3 months was 92. Within 25 days, I reversed it down to 77. Another 28 days, I reversed it down to 60. And within 105 days, I'd reversed it all the way back down to 105 days, with 41. I went back down below the regular level.
Oh my gosh.
Within another month, we went down to 39. All the way down to like 36, my HbA1c went down to. So it continued reducing, over a period of time, because of my lifestyle change.
Absolutely.
You know?
And I've got to say, you know, as you describe that, you know, Lyndon, here, one of the reasons why we now include on the Motivator Show lifestyle messages was inspired by you, the Inspired Diabetic. Oh my gosh, here we go. Oh, even bigger one. The Inspired Diabetic. It's because of you. Yeah, you're the source of it. Regular lifestyle messages are because of you that inspired. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Please. Now they know you are the source of it. Now, your book, of course, I'm going to call the name again. The Inspired Diabetic. Tell us about the book. Tell us about the book. Inspired Diabetic. Why you wrote it? Why did you write it? Tell us why you wrote it. Yeah.
I wrote it by default. I didn't mean to write it. You know?
Okay.
I didn't mean to write it, but the story, like I reversed back to my cousin Ken. When my cousin Ken became type 1 diabetic, and he told me how he became type 1 diabetic, his journey, his story was amazing. I said, Ken, you need to write a book, do a video, and share your journey with people, how you became type 1 diabetic. And he said to me, Lyndon, I've been thinking about writing a book about it. So I thought to myself, okay, I know a friend named Darren who's an author. Let me speak to him, see if he can help you. I contacted Darren. Darren said to me, Lyndon, come to this meeting, and such day, and we're going to help you we're going to help you find out information for your cousin Ken. So that's the day when my HbA1c from 92 went down to 60, So on that day, I met Ken. I didn't tell him, in advance. So when I met Ken to go to the event, I met him at the train station, and I said, Ken, guess what? And he says, what, Lynn? I said, my HbA1c is 60. And he goes, what? I said, it's gone down to 60. He says, pardon? I said, yeah, 60. He
Hold
said,
on, let me get a long clap for that. Come on. Yes. Oh, yeah. I would acknowledge it. It's so important to acknowledge that. Go on.
Because it meant, for him, it was a big thing. For me, it wasn't. It was a big, because he knew about diabetes. And he said, Lynn, do you know what you've actually done? I said, Ken, no. He said, Lynn, you don't get it, do you? I said, no, you don't get it, do you? So we're walking down toward this venue. He keeps looking at me. Lynn, I said, what? You don't know, do you? You don't get it, do you? He goes, Lyndon, you don't know. You really have no idea. So I thought to myself, wow. Ken keeps on going about these things. So once we got to the venue, I sat on the front row to get all the information for Ken. He sits at the back row. Yeah, he's sitting at the back there. So I'm there. I'm listening to the different speakers, authors, book coaches, people how to write a book, how to publish a book. And I thought to myself, some people got amazing stories. And I thought, Ken said what I done was really good. And I thought to myself, maybe there's a book in me. So I said to Darren, my friend, said, Darren, I might have a book with my diabetes journey. This is what I've done. He goes, Lyndon, write down everything that you've done. Absolutely. And let's meet up next week. Yeah, and we'll take it from there. So when I went back home, I just started to write. I didn't read back nothing. I just kept writing. The following week, I met up with my friend Darren. I opened up my folder, and for the first time, I started to read. And then I started to cry.
Yes, I understand. Yeah.
I started to cry because what I was going through, I didn't realize the lifestyle that I had. And it kind of hit me to know what I'd done. Yes. And Darren had a tear in his eye. And Darren said, Lyndon, you got a book. And that's how it all started. Yeah. Wow. That's how my book started. So from then, Darren started to help me write the book. And then Darren said to me, Lyndon, this is too much for me because it was a lot of work. Let's get you a book coach. So he got me a book coach. I started to work with a book coach. She was brilliant. And we just started to write it from there. And she was on my case every day, every week. Get it done. More research. I wanted this in the book, wanted that in the book. So I had my own vision of the book when I started it, I wanted the color in it, simple reading, just like me, simple reading, simple read. And I get so many feedback from people, Lyndon, I love the book because it's so easy to read and it's got color. And that's what I loved about my book. So a lot of people say to me, where's all the recipes? I said, I didn't write a recipe book, but that's coming. Yeah, okay. But what I'm just saying to people is that I read the book from default of not knowing what I was doing. I'm just sharing my personal journey. So my book, Martin, like you asked me, is about my personal journey of how I reversed my type 2 diabetes in 105 days naturally without prescribed medication. And that is my journey in the book. It's a story of motivation, a story of encouragement, a story of where to begin. Yeah, if you want to do it the natural way. How do I get started the natural way? And my journey, my story tells you that.
Wonderful. Hey, the Inspired Diabetic. Hey. Wonderful. Oh, yeah. Absolutely recognition. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Martin. Powerful. Martin. That is powerful. But now I need to kind of move forward now, Lyndon. Okay. Because now I've got to get into a section of our dialogue, which I have to say I've expressed some lament because I don't understand it really. Because,
Yeah.
when you were here in 2022, it was seminal. It was impactful. Okay, it was impactful. But what do you think? Why do you think, I should say, diagnosed diabetes cases continue to rise since you published the book? And let me just give you some idea of figures. In 2022, when you published the book, 4.3 million Britons were diagnosed with diabetes. In 2023, that number had increased to 4.6 million Britons. In 2024, it's 4.7 million, which is currently estimated. And it is now projected for 2025 to be 4.8 million Britons diagnosed with diabetes. Now, I've got to ask this question directly to you. This is the channel and with much of people of African heritage. Okay, why do you think people of African Caribbean communities are particularly vulnerable to type 1 and indeed type 2 diabetes? Okay, and just to give you some analysis of this, when we look at the general population, we are 2 to 4 times more likely to develop type 2 diabetes. Okay. And this is, when compared to the wider, particularly white communities, this is 3 or 4 times higher prevalent than in the white British communities. Why do you think that could be so? The numbers are increasing, not decreasing. What do you think is going on? What do you think is going on?
I think it's because of our lifestyle, you know.
Okay.
I think one of the main problems with our food, it tastes so nice. You know, our food is, we season it well, we flavor it well, you know, the texture's beautiful, everything we love about it, and we've become addicted to it on a regular basis, you know, which is normal for the addiction, because I've had it, we've all got the addiction. But the only thing that we have to try and do sometimes, like myself, is look at our health and cut down on the things that we love so much that's going to increase our blood glucose, you know. I love my rice and peas, I love my stewed chicken, love my curry goat, my dumplings, my fritters, you know, the hard. I love it, you know what I'm saying? But when I was younger, the only time that we used to have rice and peas and all this is on a Sunday. It's on a Sunday. Now we have rice and peas Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Back to back.
Yes, it is true.
Back to back. And it's not stopping. Some people, we have rice every day. Yeah? Right, a bowl of rice, like a cereal bowl of rice, is like 10 teaspoons of sugar. It is. 10 This is why it keeps on rising. And there's not enough information out there to deter people or to let them cut down on what they're eating, because it's such an addiction. Yeah? If there's more advertisement, if there's more people reading my book, more people knew about me, what I done, how I done it, this can help. But the addiction of salt, sugar, alcohol, fizzy drinks, that's what captures people. That's what captures. That's why it's growing. There's no major statement out there to say cut back or do this. Do you know what I'm saying? They spend £10 billion a year.
That's right.
On diabetes.
NHS.
Alone.
The NHS. Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
And you make a really excellent point there that The foods that we would eat maybe once a week, we now eat regularly. Rice and peas, good example. Eating far too much yams. It is. You are right. You are right. Not enough green vegetables. Green, natural, unprocessed food. And that is a big challenge. You see, of course, we're from the Caribbean part of Africa, where you had to work with manual labor. So in those days, you needed the energy, you needed the extra energy to survive the day because you were physically very, very active. Yeah. Of course, here in this environment, our lifestyle is far more sedentary. There is no need for us to be so physically active. This is why, as you mentioned earlier, exercise was an important part of your recovery regime. Yep,
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely right. And it is very, very disturbing, I must say. These numbers continue to grow. As I said earlier on, that's why we include in every live episode of the Motivator Show these lifestyle messages, which really echo the words which you've uttered today. And again, we want to thank you for being that source of inspiration to us. And of course, you are, I'm going to say it again, you are the Inspired Diabetic. Yes, sir. The Inspired Diabetic. The source of inspiration. Oh, yes. The Inspired Diabetic. Wow. And there's a lot more of that dialogue that we're not showing here on the live show. And we got to forgive us. Got some technical issues with the sound sync and visual. But I believe those of you who were able to listen to that dialogue would agree that was worth listening to. His dialogue really gets to the essence of the problems that exist in some communities. Okay, our cuisines are just too rich. Mhm. Certain dishes that we would traditionally only eat once a week, we now eat every day. Far too frequently. Too rich. The tendency to add sugar to many of our dishes is another factor that comes into play. But of course, above all that, the lack of hydration and the lack of exercise are big issues in the communities. And of course, which has been well recorded that women of African heritage, particularly here in Britain, Europe, the Caribbean, and of course America, are heavier on average than the men, which brings into play many complications for their lives, both with childbirth, diabetes, high blood pressure, and so on and so on. Which is why, of course, the Vice Chancellor of the University of West Indies noted the epidemic, the emergency that is diabetes and high blood pressure. Well, we can resist it. It can be turned round, but it requires a commitment on your part to do so. But we're here to help. That's why we're one of the very few, if the only, regular live transmissions in which we include a section devoted to lifestyle messages. And we demonstrate people coming together in common aim, common purpose, exercise together, put in their resources, understanding, in unity is strength. Because together we can all transform our life prospects. But this is an issue that we must work together to resolve. And I understand the sensitivity, I understand the challenges, but I'm assuring you, if you work closely with those you trust, those you respect, those who share your desires to improve our overall health and well-being, let's talk health. Let's talk positive well-being. Let's talk about getting our weight down to a level that it should be. You heard what Lyndon said. He's more than 13 stones, which is heavier than myself. He's 5'8", and I'm 5'9". sorry, 6'1", and he's heavier than myself. Yeah. And of course, women, too many of our women are heavier and average than the men, which in itself builds up significant problems for them in their immediate, if most certainly near futures. Okay. But it is within our gift to deliver change. And that's why the Motivator Show exists. If you are uncertain about some of what you've heard today, reach out to us. But leave a message. Do not leave without leaving a message. Leave a bit of your testimony. And if you wish us to respond to you, we will respond to you. But we've got to work together to rid ourselves of what is essentially a scourge. Yeah? It is indeed a self-inflicted wound we're committing upon ourselves. We've got to try harder. We've got to work together, hold each other's hand. We must not berate each other. Shaming is not the tactic. We work together. In unity is strength. Respect each other. In unity is strength. Jointly agree and aim an objective, because in unity is strength. And together we'll transform our health and well-being. The words of the professor. I will close with the word of the professor, not Professor Beckles, the Vice Chancellor of the University of West Indies, but Professor Kevin Fenton, the Public Health Director here in London. I want you to listen to his common sense advice. And that will be the closing message. Let me get up on the screen for you. That will be the common sense advice for you, the message to take away with you and share it with your loved ones. Share it with your children. Share it with your family members. Share it with your friends, those you respect. Share it with those in your network. These are just common sense messages. I know the visuals are not perfect, but the audios are perfect. The message is clear. Until the next time, I remain the motivator. Professor Kevin Fenton says, I'm a public health director. Here are 5 things you can do to improve your health. 1. Mindful and balanced eating. Nourish wisely. Eat whole, balanced meals with awareness to support energy and well-being. 2. Get outside. Be with nature. Time outside reduces stress, improves mood, and strengthens your connection to the world. 3. Stay curious, stay engaged, explore new interests, keep your mind sharp, build social contacts, and boost your happiness. 4. Get active, move it or lose it. Move daily, lift weight, and do cardio. Exercise, improve physical, mental, mood, and energy. 5. Prioritize rest and sleep. Disconnect. Rest. Quality sleep supports mental clarity, emotional balance, and overall health.